Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm live. I'm in the studio, so get involved in the chat and the comments. Loads of United stories to get through. Before we do so, though, the big story this morning, the breaking news this morning was the tragic news about Diogo Jota and his brother passing away. I think Diogo Jota, 28 years old, got 3 young kids. Just absolutely awful news, and everyone here sends our condolences and our well wishes or heartfelt, wishes to Diogo Jota's family and his friends, and to Liverpool fans and Portugal fans and everyone that's been affected by it. Just such sad news, it really is. So yeah, thoughts with his family. It seems a bit frivolous, doesn't it, to move on to United transfer news now, but this is what we've got to do. Loads of people in the comments as well saying RIP Jota. Good to see that people sort of coming together. The football community comes together at times like this, and rightly so. Yeah, just unreal. Moving on to United news. The news this morning and last night is about United's pursuit of Ollie Watkins. Now, it looks like there's something in this. It was our mate, I think Ollie Whitwell, in The Athletic, who broke this a few days ago, and he was sort of talking about the fact that Manchester United did actually try and sort of... I think the first initial discussions around Ollie Watkins came a few years ago, around the time we bought Rasmus Højlund, a couple of years ago. Then there was another discussion, sort of some talks around Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford got at Villa, Marcus Rashford staying at Villa, what was going on there, some inquiries about Ollie Watkins. It does feel like there's something in this. It feels like it's moving forward. There's been reports that Ollie Watkins isn't too happy at Aston Villa as well. I think the move for Marcus Rashford, and the fact Marcus Rashford was getting in the team ahead of Ollie Watkins at stages last season, even starting in the Champions League ahead of him, did upset Ollie Watkins a little bit. And you can understand why. You've been at Villa, you've been scoring loads of goals, you're the main man, and then the manager, Unai Emery, brings in a loanee and he sort of leapfrogs you in the pecking order. Obviously, Marcus Rashford then got injured, and Ollie Watkins was back to being the number one. However, it says here I think this is from the Evening Standard, Manchester United are believed to have now opened talks over Ollie Watkins. The Red Devils remain in the market for a new striker this summer, having missed out on Liam Delap to Chelsea, already strengthening their attack with the signing of Matheus Cunha, as they also finally look to clinch a deal for Bryan Mbeumo. They also want Victor Gyökeres, but it's claimed that they have now admitted defeat to Arsenal in that particular transfer race. That's doing a little bit of heavy lifting there. It's claimed they have now admitted defeat to Arsenal in that particular transfer race. Don't know what's going on with Victor Gyökeres. Don't know what's going on with Arsenal and Benjamin Sesko. I don't know. It's all a bit up in the air, that one. Anyway, per the Daily Mirror, that's not the right word. Daily Mirror, they are now stepping up their interest in Aston Villa and England forward Watkins instead, and have already held tentative talks with their Premier League rivals. However, they are apparently not willing to pay a £60 million asking price as things stand. Ollie Watkins is 29 years old, proven in the Premier League. Few strikers in the Premier League are more proven than Ollie Watkins over the last few years. He's been absolutely banging them in. He's a good player. I don't think there's any sort of argument there. Is he the right guy? Can he do a job for Manchester United? I think he can. I think he'd be an improvement on Rasmus Højlund or Joshua Zirkzee if he was to go with him. And I think Chido Obi is too young. And I think there's maybe a trail of thought that if you got Ollie Watkins in for a few seasons, a couple of seasons, maybe in 2 seasons' time, Chido is ready. Or maybe even if he kept Rasmus Højlund, he could be a bit better and ready for the first team. However, it is worth saying, I think we had this last night in Transfers Live, and I think it was Laurie again, our mate Laurie Whitwell, who said it on the Talk of the Devils podcast, that he thinks Rasmus Højlund is more likely to leave than to stay at Manchester United. If that is the case, United would need to bring in a striker. And look, I think United now, when they're going to look at it, you go, well, we have this transfer policy. We're signing under 25-year-olds, by and large, younger players. I think we've sort of had a big issue with the fact our striker was unproven. And it didn't quite work out with Rasmus Højlund. It hasn't worked out so far. So I think there might be an argument, look, shall we just get someone in who's got experience, who's proven in the Premier League, as our striker? Should we not take another gamble? Maybe we just need to sort of break our policy, if you will, of signing young players for the striker role, because we need someone with a bit of experience. Because there's always going to be outliers to that policy. Nouzer Mazraoui was an outlier because I think he's 27. So it's not just, we only sign under 25-year-olds. I think that is the usual policy, but it can be broken. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Loads of people, of course, still mentioning Diogo Jota, the sad news this morning as well. Yeah, good to see people sort of sharing their condolences there. Going on to the Ollie Watkins news, Phil Berry says, morning Jay, we need a striker anyway. That is a good point. We do need a striker, even if we kept Rasmus Højlund. I still think we need another option. So, Ollie Watkins, I'm not against that move. It's a weird one because it's not like I'm like, oh my God, we could get Ollie Watkins. That's amazing. However, I do think that would be an upgrade. It would be. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. He regularly scores 15, 16 goals in the Premier League. Let's have a look, actually. Let's just get the stats up before I start just, quoting or making them up. So, let me look at the last few seasons. So, last 3 seasons, 15, 19, 16. And also, this impresses me as well. He plays every game. He's played almost every game in the Premier League in the last 5 seasons. In the last 5 seasons, he's missed 1, 2, 3, 5. He's missed 6 games in the Premier League in 5 seasons. That's phenomenal, that. For a striker. Strikers tend to pick up knocks, don't they? It's the nature of the beast. However, he's like Bruno Fernandes. He's barely ever injured. I mean, that is impressive. The fact his goal scoring record is impressive as well. It's more or less just a little bit less than 1 in 2. But also the fact that he's fit all the time. I think that matters. I think that is what has undone United a few times. We've brought in good players, but their injury record isn't great, and we've suffered with injuries more than most clubs have over the last few seasons in particular. Last season in particular, there was a stage, wasn't there, where we had like 3 or 4 centre-backs out, our striker was out, or one of our attackers was out, 4 midfielders were out. It was just horrendous. So Ollie Watkins, who is fit, has that pedigree, has that experience, does score goals in the Premier League. I know he's 29, which ideally you want him to be a bit younger, but maybe it's not the worst move. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments, please. Martin Mongden says, hey Jay, I'm firmly in the Watkins camp, get him in. Kevin Aitchen says, if we had Mbeumo and Watkins on top of Cunha and get rid of a few other players, I'd be happy with our business. Still think Sancho for Luiz is a good option too. There was talk one that Douglas Luiz could be coming from Juve in exchange for Jadon Sancho. It's actually, I think, Dusan Vlahovic, Timothy Weah and Douglas Luiz, some sort of triple swap deal potentially. I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe there could be something in there if Juve wanted Sancho and we wanted a player from Juve. One to keep an eye on. Any updates on Mbeumo, says Katie Brannigan. Should we get into it? Bryan Mbeumo, there's a deadline here. This is from the Mirror. We could have picked about 10 different papers, loads of papers, reporting the same-ish story. I think the short and long of this one is it's more or less saying, sort of, I think the end of the week, they're expecting something to be done. It says here, we can read it anyway. It says, fair to say that Brentford forward is right at the top of United's shortlist of signings. They've already had 2 bids turned down for the Cameroonian, and while it appears that the Bees are open to selling, they will only let him go for a price they deem suitable. As it stands, United chiefs remain confident of reaching an agreement before the end of the week. I mean, you've only got a few days. They might want to move a bit quicker to get everything rubber stamped, but all the signs are pointing to this one getting done. So it should happen, that deal. I think it'll happen. We've put it on the thumbnail. You'll have seen it doing the rounds on social media. The fact that Bryan Mbeumo and Ollie Watkins played together at Brentford. I think they had 1 season in the Championship together. If that matters, if that anyone cares, I mean, it's, if we get on Mbeumo and we're still after Watkins, that's, it's good that those two at least have played together. So we'll have to wait and see. I feel like the Ollie Watkins one is more unlikely and the Mbeumo one is very likely. That's how I'm viewing it. Let me know what you think. You may disagree. Charlie Schofield says, Cunha and Mbeumo, Watkins would be a quality front line. Peter, or Pete, TRC, says Watkins loan deal, maybe. Would Villa go for that? I don't know. I think they'll want a sale. And I think they know with a 29-year-old, you loan him out, then we loan him for a year and then send him back. He's going to go back, well, he'll be 30, obviously, if my maths is right. 30 comes after 29, right? Yeah? Don't you understand how fractions work? So they're not going to have any... that's going to scupper their chances of selling him for a decent fee. I don't think they'll go for a loan move, personally. I might be wrong. I've been wrong lots of times, but we'll have to wait and see. So 29 till he's 30, says BMW Racing 1974. Utam Kulung Rai says, stop making videos on Mbeumo. Nothing is advancing except speculations. I'm frustrated. Sorry to disappoint you, Tom, but we are going to carry on making videos, just giving up people updates, even if those updates aren't moving it forward. Pidgeota says, I'm getting really annoyed how slowly we're moving this summer after that Cunha transfer. It does feel a little bit like that, doesn't it? It was like after the Cunha deal was done on opening day of the transfer window. So you're like, well, hey, moving quickly. This is what we need after we just finished 15th, the club moving forward, getting a good player in, a quality player that's going to bring something to the team. Then the Mbeumo deal became prominent, didn't it, in the news? And it's like, he wants to go to Manchester United. United want him. Everyone's getting excited. It's been, Well, it's been a month, hasn't it, since then? A month and 2 days, whatever it is. So now it feels like we've stagnated somewhat. Little bit frustrating. I get why people are frustrated. Phil Berry says, Jay, stop doing the news, laughing. Yeah, I think that was a reference to the other comment there. Nostalgia Norden says, chill, people. It's just early July. The reports are that Ruben Amorim wants Mbeumo done before the 7th of July, before everyone's coming back for training, and it should be able to get done for that because Mbeumo, you know, it's almost there. I think the rumours were that, or the reports were that Brentford wants 65 million. United so far have gone up to 62.5. We're not a million miles away. He wants to come to Manchester United. I know we had the Brentford director of football, Giles, saying, I can't remember his first name. Is it Chris Giles? I might be getting that wrong. Let me know in the chat in the comments. Saying that, well, if the price isn't right, he'll stay at Brentford, which is the most obvious statement anyone has ever said. So I understand that the reason he's saying that. He's like, look, if we don't get what we want for him, then we're not going to sell him. But obviously, that's like every footballer, every football club would be like that. I like the fact that Mbeumo is obviously hankering for a move to Manchester United. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. I think if he wanted to go to Spurs, that would put a proper spanner in the works, but he doesn't. So I just hope we get him now. I hope we get him this window. I hope we don't have to wait till January. Danny Sabov says, just seen Mbeumo at Nando's Trafford Park. There you go. Exclusive. ITK. Thank you, Danny. It's happening. You heard it here first on Stretford Paddock. Let's talk about Ivan Toney. Man United, this is from Football Insider. Man United are considering a surprise move to sign Ivan Toney from Al Hilal or Al Hali this summer, according to their former chief scout, Mick Brown, who's the former chief scout at United, is saying that we could be in for Ivan Toney. I don't know about this one. I think he's on mega money, innit? I don't see us paying the wages that he's on. I don't know how that would work. I think Bryan Mbeumo would be on about 150k if he comes to Manchester United. I think Ollie Watkins, I don't know what his wages are. I don't think they're astronomical. I think he's on decent money. I don't think he's on like 250k. I'd be very surprised if Manchester United went for Ivan Toney. There's obviously issues there with, you know, he's suspended for his gambling. He's gone to Saudi and now he's available. He's going to be on big, big money. I just can't see it. Can't see it happening. Let's talk about Douglas Luiz. I mentioned this earlier. I think we've got a story. Manchester United appreciate Juve ace offered as part of Jadon Sancho deal. Key similarity to Matheus Cunha. Manchester United have reportedly been offered the chance to sign Juve midfielder Douglas Luiz in a swap deal for Jadon Sancho. I mentioned this in my news yesterday. I think this originally came from Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio Romano was saying that Manchester United could have Dusan Vlahovic, Timothy Weah and Douglas Luiz, and Jadon Sancho could go the other way. That would be one of the most amazing deals ever, wouldn't it? 3 players going one way and 1 going the other. It doesn't really happen. However, according to United Focus, it's saying United are keen on Douglas Luiz. Let me know what you think. Do you think that works? Real recognises Real says, oh, sorry, I thought he was referring to, so Mackie Deshay said Mbeumo to Tottenham, guys. And Real recognising Real saying that ain't happening, Mackie. Yeah, I don't think Mbeumo's going to go to Spurs. I don't think Spurs are going to pay what Brentford want, and I don't think the player's interested in moving to Spurs, even with Thomas Frank going there. So I don't think that one's going to happen. Douglas Luiz, I doubt it, if I'm being honest. I know United are in the market for a midfielder. He has got Premier League experience. He has lived in Manchester. He's at City, wasn't he? So it's not the most ridiculous suggestion. However, I think right now, United's attention seems to be on Bryan Mbeumo with a little bit of sort of planning around maybe a striker as well. I feel like a midfielder is further down the line. However, I do expect us to get a midfielder during this summer transfer window. We need one. Casemiro, How much more has he got left in his legs in the Premier League? Not a lot. I thought he had some decent performances in the Europa League last season. I thought he was okay in a few Premier League games as well. I don't know if he can still cut it in the Premier League week in, week out. We don't know what's going to happen with Toby Collier. I think the jury's still out on him. Very young lad, not had a whole lot of experience. Picks up an injury just when it looked like he might be getting some more minutes as well last season, which was really frustrating. Kobbie Mainoo, we're still not sure how he fits into the system. I love Kobbie Mainoo. And he would start every week. It was up to me, but it ain't. It's up to Ruben Amorim, and I don't know what he feels about Kobbie Mainoo. And then you've got Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he's going to play and he's going to start, but he's a certain type of midfielder. Manuel Ugarte, don't know what's going on there. Feels like the manager lost a little bit of faith in him last season after that West Ham game. Didn't start the Europa League final, which was a big surprise. So we just don't know what's happening with midfielders. We'll have to wait and see. What's this JJ Gabriel story? Let's talk about this. Manchester United break shirt number history for Kid Messi, JJ Gabriel. Let's have a look what this story is saying. Manchester United have broken shirt number history to retain one of Carrington Academy's brightest young talents, JJ Gabriel, the 14-year-old wonder kid. We have done a podcast on this, me and Finn. Go and check that out. Says, has already earned the nickname Kid Messi, with coaches at the club's famed academy tipping him as the next in a long line of superstars to roll off United's successful conveyor belt. Yeah, it says how great he is. According to the Daily Mail, United have now secured him to a deal that keeps him out of reach of rival English clubs thinking about plotting a move. Yeah, we know he's signed a deal. We did all that. And it says here, a photo has emerged of Gabriel in United's new training kit after the deal is completed, wearing the number 95. That makes him the highest numbered player in Man United's history. Fucking get rid of that. Honestly. Nice one. Like, he's had the highest number in United's history, higher than God Wilke Conke. Mint. No, seriously though, any excuse to talk about JJ Gabriel. He's a very good player, very talented. Finn's absolutely waxing lyrical about him. Even at the age of 14, everyone is on about this kid. Everyone is on about he has got something special about him. You don't get the nickname Kid Messi if you're rubbish at football, do you? Let's be honest. And there was a real worry, I think, around Carrington, around Manchester United, that he could end up going somewhere else. Everyone's in for him. And I think he's from down south as well, so it's not like he's Manc born and bred. So there's always like, oh, he might end up going somewhere else. However, at least for now, he's staying at Manchester United. We need to get him secure at Manchester United. The positive thing about United is, and it kind of ties in with sort of the one good thing about not being that great, is that there is a pathway to the first team. If you're any good, you can get in this team, is kind of the argument I think a lot of people are making towards some of the younger players. However, I'm being a little bit facetious there, because historically United have always given academy players a chance. Going back to Sir Matt Busby, right through the likes of, you know, the 60s and 70s and 80s, when you had the likes of, you know, Norman Whiteside and Clayton Blackmore, Mark Hughes, to Ryan Giggs, the class of 92, to more recently the likes of Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Kobbie Mainoo, of course. So you will always get a chance at Manchester United if you are a very good young player. And it seems like JJ Gabriel is an exceptionally good young player. So we will see what's happening there, but he's staying for the time being. Hopefully he'll be staying for many years to come, and hopefully he'll have lots and lots of success at Manchester United Football Club. Going to be back later on today. We've got Off the Bar, myself, Joe Smith and Adam McCullough going to be on the channel. So make sure, if you're not doing already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.